Speedway in Corning, Iowa. We are racing, I don't know how many weeks in a row since we started this season, but we're on the roll again. It's Labor Day weekend. What a beautiful night it is. Be a great night for racing. We're going to have our regular races tonight along with Modified King of the Hill tonight. So thanks to McCunn Specialty Firearms, we'll be doing the Modified King of the Hill. I'm Cliff Baldwin. This is Evan Baldwin, and to my left is Cole Hendrickson. We are back racing, boys. Haven't missed a week forever.
Busy. It was a busy busy weekend last weekend. I was exhausted, and Cole spent some time down here as well after the races. And
sometime. We left the track at 7:30.
Now you watched the sunrise, right?
Oh, far more than that. It was. We were down at Bennett Johnson's pit, and we ordered some breakfast pizza and ate that, and then left at 7:30. So we had a pretty good night.
Yeah, Bennett. I don't believe Bennett's going to be here tonight. He was talking about just taking the night off and going to Boone tomorrow for the Super National Prelude and then start Monday. So I think Kaylee and I are going to go up and watch him, so maybe help him a little bit. So, yeah, Bennett said I don't believe he's racing tonight, so just to save some stuff, just to see how he can do up there. He is rocking some momentum, though. I mean, he did pretty dang good down here at the Tradition, and I really do think he has a shot of making the show.
Yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah, it was about mid-season really that he found a lot of speed. I think they struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season. Here lately, he's been running good. He dominated his last heat race he was in there. So, yeah, and he spent that $100 on breakfast pizza, so it was worth it. I appreciate him winning that heat because it got me fed in the morning. So
he didn't even eat it.
He fell asleep and didn't even eat any of it. So. We helped finish it up for him.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. We 2-day show, and it was exhausting. That putting that baby on takes a lot. We start early on, and a lot of sponsorship situations. Thanks to the group down in Clarinda, doing the Ribby deal they did, that was awesome. And you're constantly trying to raise money to get more money out to the drivers, and we put out $50,000 last week, so I was very proud of that. So the car count was good. I'd love to see a B feature in the stock cars, but the cars weren't in our favor with how things lined up with rainouts and stuff like that. But we'll work on that next year with Dirt Crown. So You guys got your Dirt Crown shirts on. We are going.
First thing I do want to say before I get on here is I did hear from word through the grapevine that a comment I made last week upset a sponsor of somebody's. So I don't mean to I'm not meaning to stir up anything. Sometimes we like a little bit of spiciness on here on the show because it makes it a little bit more entertaining. But again, I'm not a guy that I support everybody down here no matter who you are. So again, if there's anything anything like that, just feel free to talk to me about stuff and we'll talk about it. But back to that though, what you were talking about. It was just a really long week for all of us. I was down here pretty much every night. Logan was down here every night. Jacob was down here a lot doing track prep stuff and then getting everything ready to go. And
Dre was doing a lot.
Dre was doing a lot, yep. Dre was doing a lot behind the scenes. I mean, a lot of social media stuff, and it's a lot of work, especially when you have a full-time job on top of it.
Yep.
And a lot of our jobs that we have, too, are jobs where we can't just set aside, 2-3 hours during the day to sit down and just do racetrack stuff. It's either, before or after work. So thanks to all those people who did that. It looks like my spraying actually burned off some of the weeds around here, so it's starting to look a little bit better now. I'm glad that took hold. And I think the heat last week helped that, or this week helped that. So I'm glad Mother Nature has decided to turn down the heat just a little bit tonight because, man, this week was brutal.
It was beautiful tonight.
Yeah, I think, what was that, Wednesday? I was at work.
Well, I saw you Monday, and you walked out of your house, and you were just like dead.
Yeah, I was. Monday was a little rough. That was. That was technically the hottest day of the week. Honestly, I think the worst day of the week was Wednesday, just because of the humidity. It was so muggy on Wednesday, but yeah, it's gonna be nice whenever the sun goes down. It should be nice and cool, but. I also want to give a shout out to Logan. I think last week the track was, it was pretty dang good. So it maybe got a little bottom dominant on Friday at the end of the show, but he's still testing out that new equipment, and at the end of the races, I thought it looked really good. So.
It was. We had a top and a bottom, and it was great racing. And the new tool we have, that dirt prep tool, we got that out of Rochester. That was an adventure in itself, but personally, but it is. They've been using it, and it's the deal. So
yeah, I think a lot of it too is that the track seemed to stay really smooth. Like, there was a little bit of a rut over in 3, but for people that have raced here for years, they know that rut just can't seem to go away, but with the frames digging in. But besides that, I drove my car when I left the track at 7:30 in the morning. I drove my car around the track, and I'm like, man, this is pretty smooth. Like, it looks good. So
I like the lines that you can see in the track.
Yeah.
I was watching Farley last night, and Farley has pretty much the same equipment, and you can really see those lines in the track. So something different that we're learning with. Big thanks to Heavy Hitch, Rochester, Minnesota, Dustin Sorensen, Todd Staley, all those guys. Big thanks to them for hooking us up with one of those and getting it done fairly quickly. It was a pretty quick turnaround. We ordered it about a month ago.
Well,
and
it actually got done less than a month.
Yeah, so it was in, and it's powder coated, and it's a nice piece of equipment. It's got those carbide blades on it, so don't got to worry about those blades ever getting dull. So it's a nice piece of equipment, because for our local people that know the Lele that we were using, I don't know how old that thing is, but it looked like, it was probably made from metal, probably from a Titanic. It was old.
We put new blades on it, but the problem is our track gets so hard, and to run that piece of equipment, you only run it about maximum 2 mile an hour.
Right.
That's a killer. And now you can run this anywhere from 12 plus, and that makes a huge difference when you can speed up your track prep. So
much more efficient.
Huge. Yeah, it's just it's a great deal. So.
One thing I'm happy about is our fair board and the track prep people communicate with the fair board all the time. I appreciate since I'm on the track prep, committee and things like that, I appreciate the openness that the fair board has, the willingness to be able to spend the money in order to get equipment that we need. There's been so many years down here, where we're one of the biggest racetracks that requires the most track prep, it seems like, and it takes the most time. And there for so many years, we were using equipment that was, technically hand-me-down equipment. Everything seemed to be breaking down, and we were spending, week after week just trying to fix stuff in order to use it. And now we're getting more reliable equipment in. It makes it much more pleasant to work down here.
Yeah.
To when you can just drive down here after work, hop in something, turn it on, and go. You don't have to worry about fixing it all the time.
Well, the big thing is our last SLMR race. That showed us that we needed something. And
yes,
and Joe, we all talked after the race. We didn't want to have that happen again. And Joe Koziski stepped up, helped us also to try to figure out something. Jay Burdick, he was all over it as well. He was willing to help us anyway to get something, and he stepped up, banking wise, and helped us out. So big thank you to Malvern State Bank on helping us out and getting this thing here on time. And Joe, I know he put a big effort out working with, even talking to Harlan with that piece of equipment they have. That Kinsey piece, that's a huge piece up there. So I don't even know if we had a tractor to use it. So even our new Titan would.
I don't think the Magnum would be able to pull that thing.
It would do it, but it'd take all it's got. So
that
that would have been a huge undertaking to try to figure out a deal on that when this thing came available and they were able to do it. We hoped to get it by the tradition, and they did. We wanted it for sure by October because we want to have that around for the SLMR race, and that's going to be a huge factor when it comes to that race. So,
well, big news this week. I'm happy to announce that NASCAR is coming back to Iowa next year. Yep. I know Cole was super excited again, and it's a no-brainer for NASCAR.
Wasn't a very well kept secret.
Well, yeah, they sent out the renewal for tickets, so everybody kind of knew. So
yep.
But it's awesome.
Exactly.
I think they see. The only thing I'm a little maybe upset about, they said they're not going to finish repaving the track. They're just going to leave it the way it is. But we didn't see that bad of a race.
I thought it was great. So it's just.
It was. Even though it was two almost 3 wide in the rubber. So, but. The reason why I did mention that, race fans, is we're starting to put schedule together for next year. Dre's been working on that pretty hard, and more than likely we are not going to be racing that weekend again. So we'll probably take that weekend off, and that is the weekend of August 2nd and 3rd.
And just to put that out there as well, as speaking of last week, the tradition, right now the tradition of the tradition is what week are we going to run it?
Yeah.
So, and we're back to that point again next year.
Yep.
Finding the great date for that thing is, we're going to work with
hard.
a lot of individuals, a lot of different series and stuff like that, talking to different people on when will be the best time for that show.
Yep.
You guys are wearing your Dirt Crown TV shirts. We are Dirt Crown TV again tonight. It's something we're working on being streaming full-time next year. But, Dirt Crown itself, they tried to work a deal with us last week, and, the rain house and all that stuff cost us. But, Jay, they're really talking to us about next year. We really want to try to have a Dirt Crown next year. So that's a huge thing we're trying to push for and try to get it set up early and get that out early. So
well, not only that, but I look at our shirts, and we hope to have every series on this shirt. I mean, you got Dirt Crown, SLMR, Sport Mod Summer Series, and the 360s.
Yep.
So we hope to host all those.
Yep.
And I have been frustrated in the past with the inconsistency of the date of the tradition, because I know that hurts it from a scheduling standpoint when guys put on their schedule at the beginning of the year, that weekend we go to the tradition. Well, we don't know when it's going to be next year, so I don't know what to schedule, and I feel like that does hurt the car count as well. One of our goals as a tradition committee is to hammer down a date that works and that is consistent and that we are comfortable with. I think with this year, Cole and I kind of talked about it, throughout the week, and you can say the same thing, Cole, but a lot of it this year, what hurt us was, season championships at other racetracks. Farley being, this week. Super Nationals hasn't been raced yet. Guys saving their stuff for that. So you've got Eagle Raceway who had their championship night. You've got Harlan, who is the closest track to us. They were still racing. So
Batesville had to reschedule.
Yep.
They were going to be done.
Belleville, not Batesville.
Yeah,
Belleville had to
south, yeah.
Belleville had to reschedule Dirt Crown, which was unfortunate too. So I think it was just kind of a melting pot of unfortunate events that happened for us. But again, I was still happy to see a full field of stock cars.
Yep.
I was very skeptical on what car count we were going to get, because I was just really worried about those things that I just said. So again, race fans, one of our goals is with the tradition is we want to get a set date. We are sick and tired of having to move this thing every single year to try to fit in the best weekend that we can. And Cole's got some ideas that thrown out there, maybe doing it on Old Cornhusker weekend, in October. I feel like that's a good idea. Other ideas are in September, but be on the lookout, because things are hopefully going to change for the better with that. So
yep, we'll work on it. So that's the thing, and schedule. We put a schedule out pretty early this year, and our goal is to have it even earlier next year. We're going to change a lot of things around. I know we're going to switch the trucker night for sure. I've already talked to the sponsor on that deal. There's just too much going on that weekend, because I'm serious. I'd like to see 100 dang trucks on this track. I'm dead serious. And I think if we work in conjunction with Keen Thummel Trucking and work in conjunction with some truck stops, I think we can get that done. So, we don't push that as much as we should, and I think that could be an exceptional night. So
yeah,
and
I can tell you I'd certainly appreciate it. That's one of my favorite nights of the year, just growing up a trucker's kid. So
yep.
I know that it's been on top of the Knoxville Nationals, and I think next year that might be a race I go to. So it'd be great if I'd be able to make that night. But I agree with you. I'd love to see a sea of trucks out there.
Yep. I think it's going to happen. So I'm just going to work harder at it, and those are those things like you already mentioned. We're all volunteers here, and I am retired, so I'm trying to dedicate myself more. But it's still hard to find time, to get things done with family.
You're not retired.
So yeah,
you work more now than you ever have.
I feel like it. But anyway, that's stuff we're working on, and we want to make the season better and better, and bring back to our fans. And that's the thing, is our fans is what makes this place happen, and our drivers. So like we say, we're volunteers. Everything we make goes back into this place, and I preach that all the time. And I've been here 38 years now, working down here, and it's awesome to go back and look what we've done here at this place. And it's all because of the fans and the drivers and everybody that supports us. So all the sponsors as well. So
that's for sure. I mean, like I said, tradition for the most part, with everything we had, it was a successful weekend. It was,
great racing.
Great racing. We heard a lot of pros and cons of the different of the format for the hobby stocks and stock cars. The pros being that it's kind of an event format. The cons of being if you have bad luck on Friday, then it's hard to race your way out of it and things like that. Or if you can't make it on a certain night, things like that. So we're going to take all those pros and cons into effect as a committee, and we're going to try to come up with the best decision that we can do for next year. Again, starting with that consistent weekend, and maybe adding a Dirt Crown sanction into that as well is a possibility. Maybe taking the $4,000 total and splitting it between a 2-night thing. Make it maybe like a $1,500 to win show on Friday, or a $2,000 to win show on Friday, and then a $2,000 to win show on Saturday. Something like that. So we're going to take all those pros and cons and opinions into effect, and try to come up with the best decision that we can to support not only the racers that race the race, but the ones that travel as well, and then to try to make something. Try to make the tradition again what it used to be. 40 years ago, before it started, back when it was, a heck of a car count. Of course, back then, we would average. How many stock cars did we average back then weekly?
We were having C features.
Exactly. So
heyday,
it's just different nowadays. But
and the hobby stocks came in, and that's the thing. It's just, and those two classes were the king. So
Cole, what are you? Got any more thoughts on it?
Personally, I like the dual heat races.
I do too.
I think, to me, the best guy that weekend, those guys are going to lock themselves in. So I think it's the best way of doing it now. It's not to say, a couple of crashes, maybe a guy lucks his way in, but that's part of racing,
Yep.
So I think if the date's right and we can get back to that 35 to 40 number, I think you would see an even better show with that passing points. It's been proven at I-80 to work really well. So I did have somebody tell me that we should start the tradition 3 wides after last night at Farley. I'm like, I don't know about that, bud. But,
oh boy.
But no, I definitely like the way it went. And like I said, I think if we can find that date, I think it would be really good.
We chuckle when we do 4 wide salutes. There's somebody in the crowd. Oh, throw the green flag! It's like, yeah, 4 wide. Why not?
Yeah, you want to pay for the race cars?
Yeah, sure. So it's funny when they say that, but it's a neat deal, a neat tribute. But yeah, 3 wides. Whew, that's it's fun watching.
We're not very wide for 3 wide.
Yeah,
imagine doing it at Indy.
Our hobby stocks are 4 and 5 rows deep 3 wide throughout the whole feature, so they're used to it.
At least they're a gap.
They're used to it.
At least they gap them in the Indy cars, where they're not on top of each other. But
so other than that, it was a great tradition. I was very happy. I was happy with it. People that didn't make it here or missed out on a good show. Here we are, Labor Day weekend. There's a lot going on. It's technically they always call this the last day of summer, even though it officially isn't. But that's what they always say. And I'm sure there's a lot of people at the lake, so you guys don't hesitate on coming down for the race tonight out there at the lake. But it's a big night for sponsorship again with McCunn Specialty Firearms. We're doing the modified King of the Hill. We'll be doing 2 next week to finish it up. We'll do the B mods and the stock cars that we have left. So we'll be doing that next week, and it will be officially be McCunn Specialty Firearms night. And then on top of that, we'll have the following week will be championship night, September 14th. So
tonight was supposed to be our championship night. We ended up adding 2 nights due to rainouts.
Yep.
Again, due to being able to support our NASCAR guys, get those 16-point nights in, and giving them a chance to race a full season and stuff like that. So race fans, if you can't make it tonight, DirtCrown.tv is here again.
Yep.
So feel free to buy the stream and watch it. We're making huge improvements on that every week. Again, it's a learning curve for all of us, making sure that the stream is as best as it can be. Working out those technical difficulties, because again, we're not a racetrack that has had a full-time streaming service ever.
Yep.
So being able to get in the right equipment, being able to purchase the right equipment to support those types of streaming services is great. And we're very thankful that the guys from DirtCrown.tv are able to come down here and stream our races. And again, they're going to be here tonight. They will not be here next week. They're going to be over in Nebraska because there's a big 3-day swing over there with SLMR and the 360 series, and then they're going to be here on the 14th for our championship night, and then they will also be here in October for the 2-day show for the Pumpkin Dash. So this is kind of the start of hopefully something that is going to be a consistent thing here at the track, which is a full-time streaming service. Again, we as a track have to work out the kinks as well.
Like fiber optic.
Not only with internet, but being able to stage equipment, being able to hire people to run it every week. There's a lot of hoops that we're going to have to jump through, but this is a good start.
Yeah, it's a good time to say, that we're looking for probably at least 2 people. If I don't people contact me, but looking at maybe contacting some schools that got
this goes for you too, be talking to people.
Yeah, it's schools are setting up their media classes and stuff like that, and pretty much all schools streams now too, all their games. So if there's kids out there that are interested in that, we're going to be looking for at least 2 full-time people to run that system for us next year, and it's going to be top.
Ideally, we need at least 1 adult able to do that kind of stuff with all the the high-dollar tech equipment. But we're going to be looking for two full-time people next year that can do that on a weekly basis.
Well, I laugh when you say adult because I'm an old guy, but it seems like these young kids are by far more savvy with this technology.
Yes, but I'm talking from a professional standpoint, being mature enough to be here every week, you got to have somebody who's of age. So
that's why I'd like to. It'd be nice if there's some school and a teacher out there, or even a junior college or whatever, looking to
somebody in college even.
But somebody's looking into that and want experience. It's a way to, we've had a lot of guys here through NASCAR come here and learn trade and move down there and stuff like that. But, I talk about Trevor Mater. He started Southwest Valley system on his own. I look at him, and he came here and started it here. Started helping us out with announcing, and I look at him where he's now. It's something that I know there's kids out there interested in it, but we're going to do this full time next year. We really want to get this done, and anybody out there can contact me, and we'll talk about it. But that's where we're going to get start set up. I know I wanted to do that last year, and it just didn't work. But now that we have services that are contacting us to get this thing going, it's going to happen. So we'll get it done. So tell you what, guys, we've been rambling here long enough. We better get in some commercial breaks here, and hopefully have some guests coming. But we're going to be right back in just a few minutes here on Pitside Live.
Too busy at work to wait in a long line at Subway? Order online at order.subway.com. Simply register with your email and password and order away. You can also download the Subway app on your smartphone. Order up to 6 subs, salads, or pizza. Ready in 15 minutes once order is submitted. Also add chips, cookies, and drinks easily. And Subway's back to normal hours, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Order online at Subway in Red Oak, Clarinda, Shenandoah. Best Finish Auto Sales and Service is proud of the quality used vehicles they sell and their dedication to serve the needs of their customers. Whether it's your first purchase or one of many that you've had, you can count on their dedicated sales staff to make the best buying experience possible. They also offer financing on your vehicle purchase. Best Finish can also take care of your service needs, from oil change, brakes, alignment, air conditioning, to any body shop and repair needs. Stop by Best Finish Auto Sales and Service at 209 Sharp Street in Glenwood for all of your vehicle needs.
What if we could harness the power of the sun by using the earth to transform the way we use energy? Water furnace geothermal systems are simply the most efficient way to keep your family comfortable. Winter or summer, day or night, rain or shine, without burning fossil fuels, giving you the freedom to focus on life.
Call Camblin Mechanical or visit CamblinMechanical.com for your water furnace needs today.
Are you interested in starting a career instead of just getting another job? Well, hop on over to Fresco System USA and let us help you find the one for you. We offer competitive wages, benefits starting day one, and so much more. You can pick up an application at 2026 Fernwood Avenue, find us on Indeed, Better Team, and Facebook, or call 712-623-8100, extension 6659. Spring into action and join the Fresco team today.
Let us help insulate your home with Heartland Foam.
No matter what your insulation needs are, Heartland Foam Insulators is your go-to company. From removal to blow-in to foam, they are ready to go to work for you in any type of building, whether it be an existing house, new construction, a metal building, commercial building, or a unique project. Call Heartland Foam Insulators today at 712-623-4515 or heartlandfoam.com.
Welcome back, race fans, to Pitside live here at the Adams County Speedway in Corning, Iowa, and on the YouTube channel, on KCSI Radio YouTube channel. We're going to talk about the first segment of the night here, talking about our tradition last week, Napa Auto Parts tradition, our stock car portion of the weekend. Cole, do you have some results from last Saturday night? If you want to pull them up here really quick. I'll go over some points right now because we didn't have a points weekend last weekend, but I'll talk about current point standings, and then we'll talk about some results from last week. So right now, our top 5 in our stock cars point standings is 5th place is Lance Swartz in the 20 car. He's improved a lot the last few weeks. 4th place is 62 car of Rick Barton. He's out of Riverton. 3rd is the 0 of Tony Hardesty. And then we have a tie at the top, race fans. 2nd right now, due to a tie break, is Brad Derry in the 37D, and your point leader is the 70 of Jesse Dennis. Last week's results from your tradition.
Yeah, top 10, Nick Woodard went up 5 spots to get 10th out of Corning, Iowa. Out of Creston, Iowa, Steve Churchill finished 9th. John Kinzer went up 3 spots to finish 8th. Tony Hardesty up 2 to finish 7th. Dusty Van Horn fell back to 6th, 1 spot. Mike Albertson, he was kind of the talk of the race, didn't change his tires, and unfortunately for him, he went back a little bit further and ended up finishing 5th. Still a pretty good finish for him. Buck Shafroth went up 2 and finished 4th, and they were making big adjustments on his car. At least that's what it looked like under the caution. But 3rd was Brad Deary, your hard charger for the night, up 9 spots. 2nd was Todd Reitzler out of Grinnell, up 8 spots. And your winner out of Corning, Iowa, up 1 spot was Jesse Dennis.
Well, Chubbs, that was a pretty good weekend for you.
Yeah, it was a heck of a weekend.
Well, I talked to you at the halfway break, and, you're sweating bullets, and the car's running a little bit hot. What's going through your head during that time?
Just hoping we could get some cautions in there, get it cooled back down. After that first segment there, I think I was up to like 260, and I knew I was going to have some cautions, especially with like 7 to go. And then I didn't have to worry about looking at it. I was just like, I'm just going to run it now. So
might as well go until she can't go no more.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, you ready to go run around Knoxville?
Yeah, well, I think that'll be a fun deal. He called me the other day, so we're in on that deal, and I think that'll be pretty fun to do. I've never been to Knoxville, wanted to, so I think it'll be fun.
It's kind of like a bucket list thing, really. I mean, not only do you get the race there, but you get the race there in your own equipment, and you get the race with the Lucas Series too. That'll be kind of cool just to be able to be in there as well. So, ideas when you're going in there. I mean, Knoxville's a lot like here, where it's it's wide and it's long, and I feel like you have a kind of an advantage over some guys myself. But
I've ran in like Oskaloosa a lot, and big sweeping corners, and that's a big half mile too, just a little shorter straightaway. But so I feel like maybe it'll help a little bit that I know how to do that. I guess I don't know.
Was that kind of in the back of your mind too? Like when you won that deal, you're like, man, I get to go to Knoxville, or were you not even thinking about that?
I never really thought of it
I figured. But there was some guys that I was talking to throughout the week that were thinking about coming down just because of that. But really cool that Dirt Ground was able to do that, especially for a guy like you who was not a Dirt Ground member, but was able to purchase the membership. Now you're a Dirt Crown member, and you're able to go to that.
Yep,
so,
yep.
so yeah.
Have you? So you've never been to Knoxville, like even as a fan?
Nope. Never
Really?
been.
Oh man,
Wow.
You are gonna drive up and you're gonna be like, holy cow.
We rode the motorcycle over there a couple years ago, and we were gonna go, and then I just never went to it. I mean, I watched it on TV, and
It's just crazy how pristine everything
TV
is.
does not
It's-
do it justice.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and they're building even more suites there off of turn number 2. So, yeah, it's I think you're really going to enjoy it, and I think all the pits are pretty much paved too, so you don't got to. Well, besides where you drive, but
Right.
everything where you pit, you're going to be on nice concrete there, so it should be
And
a fun weekend.
you're gonna be racing against some of the top stock car drivers in the country. A lot of those Nebraska guys are really, really good, and several of those guys that made the Farley race last night, you're going to be racing against. So, but I'm just glad that one of our local guys is able to go, do that kind of thing. I know there's going to be probably quite a few of us to go watch. So, but talking about this this whole weekend, what did you think of the format? I know you've raced that format before at at Cornhusker, but what's kind of your idea of that?
I like it. I like doing the passing points. It can kind of break you, but I like the way it is, where if you work hard and get your car going good, and you pass cars and finish good, you can start up front, and I do like that portion of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's my biggest thing is it's like what I said earlier. Sometimes some guys can luck into some spots, but it ultimately rewards the best driver.
Yep.
So
Makes you earn it.
Yeah.
I'm not
instead of relying on a.
I'm not very good at pill drawing. Obviously, Jaden's pretty good at it with the modified. I mean, he's not good at the heat races because I started in the back both the heat races, but and then feature times come around, he can pull that one out for.
What was it? 2 weeks in a row, you drew the 100,
yeah.
Pulling in. He draws the one for the feature. You drew the back last week again, and drew the
one.
Drew the one again.
So that I am not good at pill drawing. I've been to a lot of racetracks where I've had good heat races and think I had something going, and then you go up there and you draw 12, and it's just not much fun doing that. It's just.
And I feel like what you're talking about with being able to reward the driver, I feel like a lot of those better racers really appreciate that because yeah, from a fan standpoint, it might not be as good of racing because the fast guys are starting up front. But you earned it.
Yep.
You deserve to start up front. You got guys like Dylan Nelson in the hobby stocks who ran a perfect Friday night. Mm-hmm. He deserves to start on the pole for what he did. I mean, yeah, from a fan standpoint, yeah, he kind of ran away with it. But when you're running for that big of money, did somebody just fall up there?
I don't know.
They must have. Hopefully they're all right.
But from a fan standpoint, yeah, it kind of sucks. But from a driver standpoint, I mean, you earned it, right?
Yep.
And when you're running for that much money,
yeah.
It makes you work a little bit harder.
It's nice, and then especially where they switch the heat races up, so you really don't know who you're going to have, and you're not going to really have necessarily the same guys in that heat race. So that's what it is nice. You can have a pretty stacked heat race one, and then the next one, you could have it a little easier too. So
yeah, that's all random, and we actually used the same algorithm that Lisa Layton built up there. So. She pretty much put it right into our My Race Pass, and it kind of did it for us. So, but again, like I said earlier, a lot of pros and cons to the format. We're taking it in from drivers, hearing different things of it. So, would you like to see it come back next year and kind of do the same thing?
I would like to see that again. Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully get more cars because the bigger Cole said earlier, the bigger the field. Typically, the better the heat races.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think our heat races numbers were great, but you get more cars, then you get more heat races as well. So
it makes the heat races more dramatic too.
Yeah, for sure. So it definitely just puts more cars in there with more points. So
yep.
You gotta, you definitely gotta earn more. But I tell you what, did you run that trophy through the dishwasher yet? Or
it's still sitting there. Probably got bugs in it now.
Yeah, he had. It was kind of heavy. I mean, you had to get your arms clear out there, and
it was heavy out. Joey could lift it up over my head so I could drink out of it. So
yeah, I'm glad you did that. One of my buddies messaged me when I sent him a picture of the trophies, and he's like, somebody's got to drink a beer out of that. You were the first person I said. I'm like, I know Chubbs will. If he wins it, he will.
So at the halfway break, what did you guys change?
We just put 2 tires on, and and filled up fuel. That's all we did.
I mean, you had Mike Albertson, put quite a few cranks in the right rear. I think, Buck threw the kitchen sink out of it in the rear end too. And you and Todd Reitzler were two of the guys. Well, Todd didn't change tires, and he got second. But there was only two guys that I know of that didn't change tires, and that was Mike Albertson Albertson did change tires. It was Josh Most and Todd Reitzler did not change tires. Interesting choice there. And I feel like with you, I feel like your tire was falling off maybe a little bit there towards the end of the first circuit.
Well, yeah, my car was getting hot, so I don't know. There's some it was getting up there pretty hot, and it just wasn't running very good. Got it cooled down, and that seems like it helps out a lot. The tire deal, if you're starting up front like that on the second portion of it, I just always feel like it's 2 new tires. You just got to do it.
Right.
There's just too much money on the line not to.
Right.
Yeah, I know some guys talked about, I talked to John, and he said actually before the pit stop his car started feeling much better, and he didn't change tires either, but he put
okay, so there's the third one.
Yeah, there was quite a few guys in the back that didn't, but John said after he dropped his pressures, the car went right back to where it felt before it started feeling good. So,
right.
I don't know, maybe that's what those guys felt, and they didn't think that they wanted to put new tires on, but ultimately the guy that put new tires on won it, so you never know.
It was a dramatic end to the first stage. Most gave you a little tap there. He was right there. You won the first stage by
not very much.
Not very much.
It was a good race.
Yeah, so you ended up getting the pole of the second, and you probably didn't maintain much because you knew you could change tires. It was pretty much balls to the wall, wasn't it?
15 laps, I was like, we're going to change tires anyway at 15, so I knew I didn't really have to conserve a tire.
Right, and we've always done it that way. You've watched the tradition for, pretty much every year, and I had people coming up to me and saying, well, why are you letting them change tires and all this stuff? I said, well, we've always done it that way. It's a really big racetrack. It's hard on equipment when you're running that hard, and I feel like it makes it extra drama where do you change a tire, do you not change a tire, And I feel like it just adds in another element. What do you think about it?
I'm always going to change the tires. That's just one thing you just got to go to. That's the only thing doing anything on that car, really.
Hopefully it's the only thing touching the ground.
Everything goes through that tire, so I feel like you got to have that pretty good. One thing I'd be worried about, if I didn't, would be just in the air pressure, because that could mess it up too. It's just, there's just so much to count in on that, where if you just put new tires on there already set and they're ready to go.
So when you run Charlie Clark, do they let you change tires?
Yep. Yeah.
What about Race for Hope?
The Race for Hope, nope, that was 75 laps, and all they did is let you have fuel.
Okay.
The Farley deal, it was just fuel only. You couldn't do nothing else to the car. So.
Gotcha.
So you had to really save your tires for that one.
You had to. That was a 50-lap race, and you had to be pretty mindful on your tires.
And that was a 50-lap race on the old Farley.
Yeah. Not the old one, but the new middle one.
Right, the second one, which was still a half mile.
Yeah.
Way bigger than what it is now. So, and again, that makes the feature totally different when you can't change tires because you have to conserve.
Yep.
And, the first 10, 15 laps, it's kind of just follow the leader. Guys aren't going to take a lot of chances, right?
No, you gotta save them tires, especially on the bigger races, 50 laps. Park Jefferson, it was 40, and, it was no stop. We just went, and, you just kind of had to maintain your tire on that one, too. It started rubbering up towards the end, and you're just hoping you can make it through the end. Out of I-80, I have at Charlie Clark, I came down to almost the white flag, blew a tire out, and then I went out and won the next segment. So, it's pretty nerve-wracking.
Right. 30 laps on this track is a long race. And, even if we didn't let you guys change tires, I feel like there'd be a lot of guys that are blowing right rears because it's just, I don't know. We could maybe try it someday, but I don't know. I just would rather keep it the way it is.
It don't really matter. It's just the way, I guess, you're just going to have to drive it at the beginning and at the end. So, if you don't change them, then it's fine either way, as long as we all don't change them. So.
Right. You got to make it consistent. And if you do change the rule and you want to change a tire, then you got to go to the back.
Yep.
So, again, these are all ideas. This is kind of how the tradition committee meetings go too, right here. It's kind of how they go. We talk about, okay, what should we do? What do you think guys are going to like? What do you think guys aren't going to like? So, hey, you're getting a little bit of you're kind of watching the committee meeting right now. So, but we can change gears a little bit, talk about the rest of the year. 3 points nights left, and you're right now, you and Brad are tied, and I don't think you ever would have thought that you probably would have been up there in the stock car. I mean, in your modified, you've been struggling, and you've gotten more consistent the past month, but are you focusing more on the stock car now or the modified?
We're just kind of bouncing back and forth still, and I'm working on the modified, trying to get it to go a little better. Adam's got the stock car going pretty good, so we really ain't doing much besides just maintenance and making sure everything's good.
And I feel like with the stock car, there's not as much.
No.
I feel like once you get it going good, it's kind of less stressful.
Yeah.
I watched you put in that steering box there at the beginning of the year, and you were just like, man, this is stupid.
Yeah, it was a little work at the beginning of the year. Now everything's kind of going, and things are kind of settling down. It's pretty easy.
Modifieds are just, man.
Yeah, I mean, I had a buddy kind of telling me about all the components on them, and I'm just like, man, it sounds like you almost got to be a scientist just to figure out how to set those things up. So it really makes you appreciate the guys that are always good in them, because it's like, I don't know,
Right.
And I wouldn't have any clue what to do. So
you've kind of raced over this big transition technology period. I mean, you started clear in the early 2000s where it was kind of a leaf spring style. There wasn't really a lot of things you could do to them as much.
Yeah, I started out with a 2-bar on mine. I think that's right about the time 4 bars were starting to come into play, and I think I ran a 2-bar for a couple of years, and then ended up in a 4-bar, and it's been pretty progressive lately. Things are changing a lot.
I feel like, I don't want to be, negative Nelly here, but I feel like with the modifieds, I think the technology's gone a little bit overboard.
It has.
I mean, it's gotten to a point where, if you're off by just a little bit, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. Yep. I mean, you are out to lunch, and it's kind of that way in late models right now, too. I mean, if you're not running a Longhorn or a Rocket and you're not on with the setup, you are out to lunch. And I feel like a guy like you who, is a good modified racer, I feel like it's got to be frustrating when you're in when you're in the driver's seat and you're just like, well, here we go again. Yep. Car won't turn.
Yep. And the first half of the year on my other car, I fought a brake problem most of the year, and we finally got that figured out, and then got in this car, and it was still kind of the same way. It had that brake problem, so we had to go back and fix all that too. So brakes are a big deal. I know a lot of people say you don't need brakes, but
it helps rotate the car.
It does help you get in the corner.
Yeah, you might want those. So I don't know. I think as far as the technology, it's definitely got a little out of hand, but something my dad's always told me throughout the years in racing, once you open Pandora's box, there's really no getting it back. So
that's right.
I don't know. I mean, you look at the stock cars now. I don't know if you saw that body that got unveiled today, but
it looked pretty cool. But
I mean, yeah,
it just looks like a pavement car.
Yeah, it looks like an asphalt car.
That's exactly what I thought it was. I started reading through it. I'm like, oh, that's a stock car. Huh.
Yeah,
I'll have to go look at that tomorrow at Boone, because it's at Boone, right?
Yeah. I didn't mind it. To me, the roof is a little too. I'm a big fan of the squared off Monty roofs. So
yeah, old fashioned.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just me.
I talk about it too. Unfortunately, race car drivers are they're at the mercy of their own deal.
Yep.
You guys are trying to find speed everywhere you can, and then it's a balancing act. And I feel like, especially with the modifieds, I feel like the racers it's just gone overboard now. And hopefully they can get it back into the right place, but I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons why modifieds are just not as popular anymore, and that's why stock cars are kind of coming to the forefront, because like you see it, they're just not as stressful.
Yeah, they're not as stressful. That's
So, all right, Chubbs. Well, we've had a good interview with you here, but before we let you go, thanks some people that got you that $4,000 last week and got you, able to go to Knoxville and you finish out this season. So
Adam Becker for owning the car, B&S Concrete, Fairleigh Farms, Frank's Body Shop, RNS Auto. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, it's these guys are located right south of town here, guys. If you drive in, and Frank's is right there, so they do good work on bodies. My car's been in there a time or two, you know, more times than not there after a while, because sometimes these deers like to run into me, right?
Yeah, I might need to come down there. Somebody sat on my hood a couple weeks ago. I won't call them out, but
Jesse's paintless dent repair?
Yeah, I know. I need it. So, hey, they had the stock car on display today when I drove by after the tournament. So,
oh, there you go.
Yep. It was a nice view along the road.
All right, well, you got a points championship to run for 2 classes. Modifieds obviously is going to be a little bit tougher. I mean, you got quite of a gap to make up, and Wiggins is so good right now.
He's pretty fast.
But I feel like with the stock car, I mean, you're tied, so we'll see how it goes. You and Brad, I know, have a lot of respect for each other, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, just go out every night and just try to do
week by week.
You've
been doing it long enough, so.
Yeah, you can tell he's really stressed out.
Well, he might be inside, but he don't wear it on his sleeve. All right, race fans, that's the driver of the 70 car. That is Chubbs Jesse Dennis, the current tied point leader in the stock cars and your tradition champion. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back with you here on Pitside Live.
Since 1892, Malvern Bank has been building community from 404 Main Street in Malvern, Iowa. For generations, Malvern Bank has been serving local businesses, families, and farms to help them achieve their goals in every step of their lives. From saving for college to planning for retirement and everything in between, Malvern Bank is your full-service community bank, here to help as you plan for the next chapter of your life. Call, click, or stop in today to apply for an account, loan, or credit card. Malvern Bank, we build community. Member FDIC, equal.
Furniture, appliances, mattress sets, lift chairs, bedding, recliners, and more. S&S Appliance, your hometown furniture store in Clarinda, just received a large shipment of appliances. They have a huge selection of stoves, refrigerators, chest freezers, and microwaves. And if you need a mattress set, they have them. Plus bamboo sheet sets. They offer full service from start to finish with competitive price guarantee. S&S Appliance also offers delivery and installation. Stop by S&S Appliance on the square in downtown Clarinda.
This is Josh with Shore Motor Company in Clarinda. We want to be your GM dealer. We have highly qualified and trained technicians ready to work on your vehicle. Anything from recalls to warranty work and beyond, we are your GM dealer. Our service department is open 6 days a week for all your service needs. We even have an express lane for those no appointment quick oil changes. Visit our website at shoremotor.com to request an appointment or give Mike or Amanda a call at 712-542-6581. We are your GM dealer. Shore Motor Company, just south of the square in beautiful Clarinda.
All right, race fans, welcome back to the Adams County Speedway here on Pitside Live on KCSI 95.3 out of Red Oak, KOAK 1080 AM. Also here on the KCSI YouTube channel. We thank you for joining us here tonight. We're going to switch gears just a little bit here, and we're going to talk about some modified racing here. And you have some results from last Saturday night's tradition?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you do. Get her going.
So your top 10, in 10th was Tyler Fudge out of Corning, Iowa. 9th was Colton Garside out of Greenfield. Colton had a great weekend. A lot of speed in that car.
Yep.
Probably didn't get the finish he was looking for on Saturday, but still that car looked really, really good. Ryan Schaefer got 8th. Jeff Wiggins got 7th out of Greenfield. Cody Thompson out of Sioux City ended up 6th. Garrett Wilson out of Carlisle, Iowa, got his redemption here at the track, gets a top 5 after being upside down the last time he was here. Josh Cooper out of Prescott got 4th. Jace Witt, redemption night for him on Saturday too. Friday did not go the way he was looking for, but finishes 3rd. 2nd is Jesse Dennis out of Corning. And your winner, the modified hobby stock car, midget driver, anything on wheels, Josh Mose.
Anything with a motor. What's up?
Not much.
Is the car here tonight?
Which
Modified?
one? Modified's here. I'm not driving. I got fired.
Justin's driving it again?
Yep, Justin.
He's going to go back into it? Okay.
He's going to get some redemption, I think.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
We hope so, but.
Good to see. I think we got a couple other mods. I think Harker's here. I did hear, I think Mike Densberger might be showing up.
They rolled in too.
So good. Now that some other tracks are closing and get some other guys here and from what I hear, I don't know if it's true, but heck, Harker wants to run here weekly next year and run for Rookie of the Year. So
he's definitely not a rookie, but that's okay.
Well,
that's
he's never owned a
know.
NASCAR license, so that's just the great thing about NASCAR is you're able to do that. So, but last week, man, what a workout! I talked to you during the hobby stock race there halfway, and I asked you, and you were like, I wish I was driving another car.
Yeah. I'm a little different, but you got to remember, so I started when I was 8 years old. I used to race 3 nights a week, 50 out of 52 weeks in a year, because we get snowed out racing at the barn in Des Moines, racing go-kart stuff. And then I got teamed up with Trent Krause, and we used to do some pavement racing, 250, 500-lap races. And, like at Lowe's Motor Speedway, run on that quarter mile on the front stretch and go down that concrete backwards. And, the year I did that deal and qualified for that, Kerry Parnell and Jason Petty and me were the only solo drivers. And when I got out afterwards, my whole right side, all the skin was gone and just rubbed raw.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the first 100 was probably, you started hurting pretty bad. 100 to 150 laps, you really were sore. After that, your body was so numb, it didn't matter. You just keep going.
That's awesome. I actually had no clue you've done pavement racing.
That's a good story.
That's really cool.
What are you surprised?
Well, yeah, I knew he's pretty much driven anything on dirt, but, man, he's done some asphalt stuff, too.
I wish you could have gotten in a 360 and raced here during that night.
Yeah, I wish. The whole sprint car thing, I wish I would have raced that more this year, or just circumstances and stuff. Not going right with everything, car owner and his stuff and motors breaking. And, maybe in the future, maybe we can try to get something other than just a non-wing 410 deal.
Last week, though, it was up and down for you. Modified was great. You ended up winning that and then got in some stuff in the hobby and then also got in some stuff on the stock car. But the stock car deal, I was so surprised you didn't change a tire. You went Kyle Larson mode.
It was kind of dumb, honestly, but Wrightsler was good. So,
yeah, Todd didn't. Todd looked great.
Yeah, he did. But I know Todd. We talked. Before racing here even, and he's comfortable. He runs that thing a lot. That's what his sole deal is, and he drives. You could probably see sitting there watching. I probably hurt myself trying to race Jesse as hard as I did right at that halfway. Honestly, we didn't have another 4-inch off wheel with the tire bolted up to even race it, so we weren't going to change tire anyway.
Breaking news, race fans. That's why he didn't do it.
Yeah, well, if we put a 3 off on there, it probably wasn't going to work anyway. Just the way the car setup is, what we do, it probably wasn't going to be good anyway. So not excuses, anything. Just, when you race that much, if I would have stuck in the top 5, we were going to be really happy with that for no more than what we race it. Obviously it's competitive. Been down here once with it and won. It's good, but I think that class is a little bit more. It's kind of like the modified, where your good guys don't mess up a lot. So, your Jesse Dennis's, your Brad Deary, they don't make a lot of mistakes. So you got to be on top of your game. And our tires, I think we checked the air, at that pit stop, and the right rear had like 22 pounds in it, and we go out there with like 12 pounds. So gaining 10 pounds of air, it really didn't help. So it really wasn't as good as what we thought it was going to be in the long run. I'd been better off if it would just been green to checkered 30 laps, because when you slow down and you got that much heat, and then plastic tires, they seal over.
Makes a huge difference.
Well, I was going to ask that too, because I'm so accustomed to guys putting tires on. In asphalt racing, a huge thing is heat cycling the tires, which it helps in asphalt most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't. But what does that do? Like, how does that feel whenever you heat cycle a dirt tire?
So a lot of times, like now, they got a coating on them to keep them. Why we don't buy them. So they got a coating on them, and after that first heat cycle, it opens the pores up in it, and there's a lot more traction. Granted, the stock car, I think, is the only class you can really bolt a brand new sticker on and like it right away, just because it's that heavy of a car, it's that hard on the right rear, that it seems to like a brand new tire. When I was in Arizona, like, if you didn't put a new right rear on, you're pretty much out to lunch with the car's amount. If nobody puts one on, it's a different story. But you get 5 guys that do it, those 5 guys are most likely going to be up front. So,
and it's surprising to me that, with you saying that, how good Reitzler was.
I was impressed
without changing a tire. He was second hard charger. He went up 8 spots, and it seemed like after the second stage, he just got better.
Yeah.
And I feel like if there was a few more laps, it would have been interesting, because he was coming on there at the end.
Yeah. No, he's, and if you watch him, I know he'll get after it at like Marshtown where you can, but he's obviously done it. I don't know how long he's done it, but he drives it really straight. And everybody thinks, I'm the wild guy because I drive everything sideways, getting a hobby stock, and they're like, that thing's sideways, and it's like, it's my comfort zone.
And Josh, you don't have quick steer.
Yeah. it makes it a handful. You definitely got to get on the wheel to keep up with it. You're back and forth.
You're back here trying to. It's probably a workout.
Oh, it is. It is. Definitely.
You're probably like, turn. Come on, turn.
If they would put a quickener in that class, and probably better tires, because anytime you make one thing better, you got to make the next thing better.
You're running DOT tires. So
it's a really good class to be in, but it's just like anything. I tell everybody, you got to pick your class you want to be in. I'm a prime example, like the compact deal. I haven't pulled it off. Everybody wants me to try to do it, which would be cool deal to do, but
you still got 3 weeks left.
Yeah, well, I don't have one, but you never know. It's just like that today. My phone rang, and I'm in a hobby stock again, and it's like, well, okay, whatever.
Toll called you?
Yeah, Toll called me, but he fired me out of the car I ran last week.
What was he doing at Farley?
Teching. I don't know. He didn't do a very good job. He didn't throw nobody out.
Well, I was up there. So Haley and I were watching last night, and we were just laying in bed watching it, and just all of a sudden you see Gary's up there, and then here comes that doofus with the big cowboy hat. I'm like, is that Toll? I'm like, what is he doing up there? He's teching, but yet he can't pass tech down here.
Yeah. He wants to see how the good ways of cheating are, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, he's done a good job this year.
He has.
I don't think he's been DQ'd this year. So.
No. I've kind of harped on we need to tighten the ropes up and get that stuff more accurate if we know something's wrong. And some of it was just little things, old school stuff versus the new rules, and not reading the rule books and stuff like that. So I think he's on the right track now. And
that's a long drive for him up there.
Oh, yeah.
Getting out of his wheel, getting out of the realm of Southwest Iowa. I bet you that was a trip for him.
It probably took him a day and a half. Probably got lost.
Yeah, I'm sure. He doesn't get that far away from home. This is about the farthest I think he gets away from home.
Yeah.
But back in a hobby stock tonight, you never know what you're going to drive, it seems like. But one thing I do want to mention is how good the new edges have been this year. Bryce, Kyle Tanner, Justin and your dad's modified. It just really stands out to us. How good they are.
Yeah.
You need to start building more of them.
Well, yeah, that's the hard part. The price of everything has gone up, which it hurts. But if you commit, the whole thing is staying on top of it. Once you buy something that's fairly new, you need to lose, whether I tell my guys, if you can lose $1,000 a year, if you keep something 2 years and it's the frame, you lose $2,000 on that. $2,000's $2,000, but you got to look at how much money we spend to come here every week. It's a tough deal. So if you can lose a little bit and you just roll that money over, like I tell guys, if you're going to update something, if it's going to cost you $4,000 and then you still got to put a body on it, it's like, well, maybe you just need to sell what you got to maybe a lower budget guy, upgrade his program, and then you roll the money, you were going to clean your own car up and make it new, and you're going to be happier in the long run.
Spoken like a true businessman here.
Yeah.
Probably a terrible one.
I mean, that seems to be what most guys do. You know, some guys do update it, but there's a lot of guys out there, they get a new car every year or every couple of years. So
it's just hard because it's just like right now we're sitting at a predicament that you guys talked about with that new car. That new car is a lot different. And, I mean,
fast.
Honestly shocked it went as good as it did. Like, Bryce called up. He was wanting to do something different. He was going to be one of his last years. He's like, I hate to do this to you, but I'm either going to buy a Rage or try something. Or, you know, we were in the process of building Justin's. He's like, well, is that thing going to be different what you got? Because I just want to try something different. I was like, we're going out on a limb, but there's no guarantees. And, I mean, obviously we hit on something. I mean, Justin's real smart with his late model program, bounced ideas back and forth. Probably fought more than we got along on that deal, more than anything.
What with Justin?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah. You know, two peas in a pod. You could probably remember me and him racing late models back in the day here, and we used to wreck each other. So,
no.
I mean, there's a lot of good stories. But, you know, we have our own ideas, and we bounce it back and forth, and Justin was a big help on it, on some things that, you know, it was so hard, you know, like he came and looked at one of our new ones that we had that was different, and it is a really good car. Jake Sacco was in Kyle's car last night, ran second. Ty Rogers from Arizona was in one. It'd basically be a 23. It'd be the newest car. It was my personal car. I only ran like 4 nights, and then he bought it for Boone, and they ran door to door. So, I mean, I think that car's good, but he sat there, and me and Justin sat there and looked at a car twin to that, and he's like, well, what would you change? I was like, I can't really change because I don't have anybody to work with on that feedback. You know,
to bounce off of.
Nothing against Bryce or Josh or anybody, but if you don't race the same thing and try to race every week or multiple times a week, it is really hard to chase stuff.
That's right.
So
I was just getting ready to say that is it's got to be hard for you as a chassis builder to you know get better because unfortunately a lot of your guys don't race at other places. I mean it's down here or it's maybe Harlan or places like that. And question for you: so is Kyle Tanner's car going to be at Super Nationals?
I don't think so, but
because I would love to see one of those edges at Super Nationals to see how it does.
Well,
I think Bryce is committed down here.
Would Eddie Ingram be there? He has one of the new ones, right?
He does, but I think it's sold. So
okay.
I think if everything pans out, I think Garrett Jernigan from California sold his, and he wanted a new style one, and it was just one of them things that Ingram wants to go to an A-mod, and he called me up and he says, will you build me an A-mod? And it's like, all it takes is money. And he's like, well, can we get rid of this thing? And funny thing was, honestly, out of my text messages, it was literally within 6 minutes. I had my phone called from Garrett, and he's like, hey, is anybody going to sell one of them new cars? I was like, dude, a guy just texted me and told me that he was going to sell it. And he's like, give me his number. And they already lined up a deal. And
sweet. So what about guys like Chris Burke? I mean, I didn't know if he'd be willing to get something new.
I think he would like to. I just think, he probably runs his business a little bit more solid. I don't think he really concentrated on his rap business. I mean, it's way bigger than race car stuff. So,
right.
With capital signs.
Understandable.
So I think it's going to be hard for him to switch, but if the right guy came along and wanted to buy his, but I don't think he really wants to go through the headache of trying to sell it. I mean, because you got to deal with 20 people to sell something. So that's the hard part anymore. I mean, you used to go to swap meets and everything else, and everything's pretty much died off on that. So,
right.
I mean, it just made it hard for all of us to
unless
move
you're
stuff.
A compact driver.
Yeah.
You can go swap meets.
Probably go Kaziski Auto Parts, and it's like heaven up there.
But yeah, I would love to see one of those new cars, compete on a national level like that to see how competitive it is.
Yes.
And that's why I told Bryce, once we're done here, I'd love to see you go up to Harlan, or I'd love to see you race, because I always love seeing our local guys, especially in his situation where it's a new chassis, to see how good they are against guys that race all the time.
And then that's the hard part. Some of these guys, I mean, they're on a deal. They've gotten a deal somewhere, or they're in line to get a deal, whether it be like winning Super Nationals like Sacco did. I mean, he's in that clique. Me and Andy Eckridge talked probably for over an hour this week on the phone. I mean, I think that everybody doesn't realize, your guys that are winning races and building stuff or whatever, we all communicate. I got Brock on doing shocks on my B-Mod stuff, and Justin's on an Integra deal. We got a different brand of shocks on there. Brock doesn't work on them. Obviously, Bryce's car still goes great with them on there. There's nothing wrong there, but you got to pick and choose what you do. So I work with Andy. I've known him racing late model stuff back when I did the Deere Brothers stuff. And, we talked for over an hour about stuff. So there's, a lot of us communicate, even though that we're supposed to be competitors. They have the performer car, but we all bounce ideas off each other and we talk. And that's what makes kind of a dominant program. That's why some of these guys got better stuff than others, and you see things die off. None of us want to see a chassis guy die off, or, like Josh selling his race car. It's great. Maybe it's something that'll show up here because he raced here. That'd be great, but, we don't want to see Josh quit. He's a good asset. He's raced here a long time. Hopefully, life changes, getting married and everything. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll be in a different class. Maybe he'll come back and get another B mod someday when, life changes. You never know. You can't blame a guy for leaving, and you can't blame him for coming back. So
he was down here last week. I said you just can't stay away, and now you're just doing sprints. He was just running everywhere.
Oh, I know. He's going to be 150 pounds here before long, running around like that. He was on the racetrack, off the racetrack.
Well, I told him today while we were golfing, I'm like, you should be down here. Like, you don't have a race car anymore. What are you doing? I'm like, his golf game is going to be incredible before long. So now that he has time to go do it. So
well, race fans, we hit the top of the hour. Got to do a little station identification. You're listening to KCSI 95.3 FM, KOA K10 AM. We're here with Josh Most, also out of Red Oak, Iowa. Before we get you off here and talk to one of your customers, you got a lot of people that work for you, that that you work for, and mention some of those people before we get you off of here, because we could talk for hours about racing. So
yeah, well, the two guys in our shop are Brett and Bill LaFollette, and they're pretty much used to race around here and build an awesome race car. Used to build the K mods back in the day, and they just have their heart and soul working in the shop, love doing that. Got out of the PR side at the racetrack, and that's what builds this thing to have good race cars and safe race cars. So that part of it, and then there's tons of sponsors between Justin and people that back me. My dad's obviously been 100% backer. Justin with Zeitner and Sons, and all of his sponsors that help him out on that deal. And everybody I drive for, Toll and every one of his sponsors, it all is a big deal. And all the customers that help me, and Performance Bodies, makes all of our lives easier. Everything that we're buying stuff from to selling stuff, and all the racers and fans for coming out and making this deal. It takes all of us to keep doing this to have a place to come to.
That's right, and it's a lot of work, and we'll see how this new stock car body goes. We'll see if you get one of those maybe next year, eh?
I'll be one of the first ones to put a plastic one on.
Well, it sounds like to me that there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to make that.
I didn't realize they're plastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody's.
That's what I said.
You just walk up and
she's
straight again.
You can run a mod body now all year.
Oh yeah,
they're so easy.
I used to rip the deck out in between hot laps in the heat race and the heat race in the feature and not think nothing about it. But I must be getting old, because I'm like, I don't even want to drive that stock car. You touch something, it wads the fender up. I'm like, oh, that's like 3 hours this week to make it fit back right. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
All right. Well, we wish you luck tonight in the hobby. It sounds like you won last week, so you got fired and modified. So,
yep.
All right, we're gonna wish you luck, and we'll come back here and we're gonna talk to our next driver here on Pit Side Live.
Thanks.
Just as your local State Farm agent teams combine good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto. And guess what you get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. This is your local State Farm agent, Dave Carball, and we promise to deliver the service you deserve at the price you want. My State Farm team will help you mix and match things perfectly. Call us today at 712-623-5639 for your surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Too busy at work to wait in a long line at Subway? Order online at order.subway.com. Simply register with your email and password and order away. You can also download the Subway app on your smartphone. Order up to 6 subs, salads, or pizza. Ready in 15 minutes once order is submitted. Also add chips, cookies, and drinks easily. And Subway's back to normal hours Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Order online at Subway in Red Oak, Clarinda, Shenandoah. Best Finish Auto Sales and Service is proud of the quality used vehicles they sell and their dedication to serve the needs of their customers. Whether it's your first purchase or one of many that you've had, you can count on their dedicated sales staff to make the best buying experience possible. They also offer financing on your vehicle purchase. Best Finish can also take care of your service needs, from oil change, brakes, alignment, air conditioning, to any body shop and repair needs. Stop by Best Finish Auto Sales and Service at 209 Sharp Street in Glenwood for all of your vehicle needs.
Hi, race fans. Welcome back to Pitside Live on KCSI 95.3 FM, KOAK 1080 AM. We're coming down to the white flag of the show here. Got about 20 minutes left. And we're going to talk about some B-modified racing here. Just got done talking about some modifieds. We're going to go over to the B-mods, and we'll talk about some results from last Saturday night. From the Saturday night portion, Bryce did win the Friday night event, but Saturday night we'll do a quick recap of that, and then we'll go over some points.
Yeah, so finishing 10th was David Swartz out of Greenfield, Iowa. Kyle Russell out of Holt, Missouri, finished 9th.
Very impressive, by the way.
Yes, yeah, he got redemption on his night. 8th was Kirk McKay out of Lennox. Kevin Zeitner went up 8 spots out of Bellevue, Nebraska, and finished 7th. Darren Hardesty out of Cumberland, Iowa, also went up 8 spots and finished 6th. Bryce Allen, you went back 4, finished 5th, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Kyle Tanner out of Blair, Nebraska, up 5 spots to 4th. Sean Krolick finished 3rd out of Creston, Iowa. And your hard charger of the night out of Villisca, Iowa was Hunter Poston, up 10 spots to 2nd. And your big winner in the Sport Modifieds was Matt Avila, up 5 spots.
Top 10 right now in your RJ Plumbing and Heating B-modified point standings. 10th place is the 17 of Tate Hafner. 9th is the 20 of Kirk McKay. 8th is the 76 of Dave Orr. 7th is the 12J, the Corn Man himself, Darren Hardesty. 6th is the 11 of Austin Hardesty. 5th is the 5 car of Josh Sink, but unfortunately that's going to be dropping. We know on Facebook Josh is done for the year. 4th place is the 0 of Sean Krolick out of Creston. 3rd is the 78 of Evan Davis out of Corning. 2nd is the 58 of Hunter Poston, just 2 points back of your new point leader with 9 feature wins on the year, and he is to my right, Bryce Allen. What's up?
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Friday night was good. Everything went, quite smooth, and then Saturday rolled around, and you were kind of the show there for a while. You know how it is.
Yeah. I drew the 1, and I was like, all right. And Krolick drew the 2, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a good race. I knew Avila was right there in the 3rd row. And, I missed my marks by a car width, and it happens.
Yep, it happens. And even though you've got 9 wins on the year, you still got to be, perfect. It seems like it's just it makes you appreciate it more that you have that many wins.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if 5th is my worst finish of the year,
that's pretty good.
Just fine with me.
Yeah, and we were watching the front there late in that one, and we didn't even realize. I was going down. He told me to bring him home, and I'm going through the top 5, and I'm like, Bryce Allen got 5th. I'm like,
we weren't even watching.
I'm like, he was flying up through there. I couldn't believe he got back to 5th, but that was I'm sure that was a lot of fun ripping up through the pack.
It was a good time.
Yeah, and we just got done talking to your chassis builder about the changes that you made and kind of how you went about it, and that you were looking for something different. And Josh kind of was telling I just don't know how good it's going to be, and you might want to go with somebody different, and man, was that the right decision?
It sure looks that way.
I mean,
I think his results speak for the decision.
This is kind of like a storybook year for you. I mean, you've been racing here a long, long time, and you've always just kind of been that average guy. Not a guy that really sucks, but not a guy that wins every week. And this year it's just been incredible to watch how fast you are and how you're able to move all over the place, and how much more of an aggressive driver I've seen you are this year because of how comfortable you are in the car.
Yep.
I mean, you're throwing it in there like an A-mod because you know it's going to stick.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're just comfortable.
I am super comfortable, and one thing that I did with this car from the last one is I measured like where my steering shaft was and where everything was in the car. My seat's in the same spot. It's square. It's so sitting in the car was like sitting in the last one. It doesn't mean it drives the same, but it's a good place to start. You sit down in it, feels like home, and like, okay, we can start there. Start off being comfortable.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be a huge deal. But then you got like guys like Josh who just hop in whatever, but I don't know how he gets comfortable.
He's racing a hobby
like
stock
that,
tonight.
But yeah,
who knows?
I'm like,
he wins. He wins the modified race last week. Gets fired because Jay-Z wants to run again. So now he's going back to a hobby. Whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
You never know what he's going to be driving.
What do we say? We need to find you a hobby stock ride.
I can promise you that probably wouldn't be a very good deal.
You're going to be going in there. You're like, this thing will not turn. I'm turning the steering wheel 5 times and it won't turn.
Nope, they don't turn. The brakes aren't very good. Nope. I'm out.
It's a lot more. It's a lot more. Momentum, but
Yeah.
it's a lot different. But finally took the points lead. Hunter's still right there as well. But it's just been tight all year. But I know it's been a goal of yours to win the track championship. I mean, you've been racing here a long time, and it's amazing to me how you haven't won one yet, because you're one of those guys that has been consistent for years. It just seems like there's always been that one or two guys that have just been just ahead of you. And this year, I mean, I wish you luck that the cards do fall in place and things like that. But again, I'm sure things won't change. I mean, you're obviously going to have to start deeper in the field, point average. But
yep.
I'm guessing you're just taking it week by week, right?
Yeah, take it week by week, race it out. Whatever happens.
Yep.
I can race clean with Hunter, and he races clean with me. And I mean, that's the way to have it. So.
Right. At least it's not something where we have guys in the top. I'm looking at these guys in the top 5, 6, 7. At least it's all guys that you can trust, to where they're not going to run you over and intentionally do things like that. All of our guys, and I feel like that's a testament to our drivers, because you watch a lot of B-mod races at other racetracks. It is like a nightmare out there.
Yes.
And it's like, well, how many cautions are we going to have tonight? And who's junking who tonight? And I feel like with our top guys, it's pretty good for the most part.
Yep, definitely.
So
yeah, I mean, I've been super pleased with the class this year. There's been so many good races, and even in the points, like it's just I was telling him when all you top 5 are right there together, I'm like, every driver has like a story that would be great to follow. You had Kralik trying to go back to back. Obviously, Sink, that's not going to happen now.
Yep.
But his story, getting back to a track championship, and then you, Evan, and Hunter would all be your first. So it's like, I mean, it's just been awesome to watch all you guys battle all year long. And it's like what you said, I go to another track and I'm like, oh, here we go. Here comes the sport mod feature. This is going to be great. Now, like when you guys pull on track, there's no doubt in my mind. It's
there's some cautions, guys in the back. It's just the typical stuff, but it's not like people are, trying to win it on the first lap and junking each other.
No.
So, but track conditions are going to start, playing into effect. They're going to start changing here the last month of September, things like that. Are you going to change anything, or are you just going to keep going with the basic setup and go from there?
We'll keep rolling with the basic setup. We've tried to tune on it a little bit, and some things have made it a little better, some things made it a little worse. Just kind of some very minor things that, driver feeling things that maybe don't necessarily make or break it, but yet it feels a little more secure and comfortable. But
yeah,
see what happens.
Another bucket list win for you. Winning a tradition feature, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Being able to get that done, being able to get a trophy that has the tradition logo on it, that's pretty cool. You're just kind of checking off the boxes as you go, but obviously the end of the year, you're going for a track championship. You're going to have 3 more nights here. Obviously, you're probably going to try to run Pumpkin Dash too, depending on harvest and everything like that. But are you wanting to go anywhere else? I was talking to Mo. I was like, I'd love to see you race somewhere else, to see how good this car actually is.
It would be fun to like go to the Tiny Lund or something. We'll kind of see what the weather does the next month as far as harvest and stuff.
I know
Maybe.
it gets super busy, so
yeah, we'll see. As far as Pumpkin Dash, that's in October, and I can't guarantee that I'll be here. I won't, but I'd be surprised if the car doesn't make it one way or another.
and see, Krolick's the same way. I mean,
yeah.
When harvest rolls around, you just never know.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
let's be honest. That's about half of our field here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
So.
And living on Southwest Iowa. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you talk about the Tiny Lund. Have you ever ran on the reconfiguration yet?
No, I've never even been there to
really?
watch the reconfiguration. I raced there one of the last races.
So different.
They had
it is nothing.
the big track, and that was it.
You drive up there and you're like, this is Shelby County Speedway.
Yeah,
I mean,
it looks like a whole new track.
Yeah, it's so different.
Well, I mean, it is, but
it's So, but we'll get you going here in a second. I mean, we're getting up to the end of the show here. If you need to go hot lap or whatever, but. I wish you luck the last 3 weeks, but you've obviously got a lot of people, fan base. You've got a huge box up there that support you. Every time you win, it's like the whole town of Stanton comes down and takes pictures. So thanks, some people.
Yeah. I got to thank Belt Farms, Bergeron Farms, Mark Allen Drainage, Nodaway Valley Equipment, Wookie Inc., Climax Cattle Company, Horse Creek Ranch, Edge Chassis, Hart Farms, my wife, my kids, mom, dad, my brother, everybody.
Yeah. And I feel like you're going to be in the same situation as Brad Bergeron's in, where if you do get out of a race car, your kids are going to start saying, Dad, can we please go back racing again?
Oh, we're already in that situation.
And it sounds like Brad Bergeron's wanting to get back into racing because the kids want him to.
Yep.
So if you do get out of it, just think about that in the back of your mind.
I know.
The kids like seeing you out there.
Yeah.
We'll
see where the cards fall with the track title, with the national deal. See how it goes.
Yes,
here.
it is a great. My dad said it's a great place to raise a family at the racetrack.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But. Well, Bryce, we wish you luck. It's tight. It's been tight all year. Nothing's really changed on that, but we're getting down to it. 3 nights left. Hopefully Mother Nature cooperates and we're able to race all 3 nights. And you can catch us on TV tonight and on the championship night, so we wish you luck.
Thank you.
All right, race fans, we're going to take one more commercial break, and we're going to come right back with you.
Harness the power of the sun by using the earth to transform the way we use energy. Water furnace geothermal systems are simply the most efficient way to keep your family comfortable. Winter or summer, day or night, rain or shine, without burning fossil fuels, giving you the freedom to focus on life.
Call Camlin Mechanical or visit CamlinMechanical.com for your water furnace needs today.
Are you interested in starting a career instead of just getting another job? Well, hop on over to Fresco System USA and let us help you find the one for you. We offer competitive wages, benefits starting day one, and so much more. You can pick up an application at 2026 Fernwood Avenue, find us on Indeed, Better Team, and Facebook, or call 712-623-8100, extension 6659. Spring into action and join the Fresco team today.
Welcome back, race fans, to Pitside Live here at Adams County Speedway in Corning, Iowa. We're coming to the checkered flag here on the show as well. Tell you what, guys, I know you've had some great interviews, and finish it up for the night. I want to mention a few things that will be going on the rest of the year. Obviously, we've talked a little about it earlier, but next week will be the final 2 King of the Hills with McCunn Specialty Firearms. We'll have the B-Mods and the stock cars next week for you. I will be selling 50-50. As you can see, I'm getting my garb on now. So I'm going to do 50-50 tonight because it's always fun to do 50-50. We can draw 8 numbers to match up with the fans with the 8 drivers on the King of the Hill. So we'll be doing that for sure. And then, we'll finish out the year in 2 weeks with our championship night. A lot of exciting points battles going on in every class. So we'll get that night finished out to you on September 14th, and then we'll have a couple weeks off for the Pumpkin Dash. So just want to make sure we mentioned all that. Anything else, guys? I'm trying to think of anything else going on right now.
I do want to mention, race fans, we got 82 cars checked into the Speedway. Great car count for this time of year. There's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, Super Nationals is getting ready to start. But 14 compacts, 19 hobbies, 14 stock cars, 19 B-Mods, and 16 modifieds.
Got some new ones tonight.
Yeah. Got Mike Densberger back, the Magic Man. Good to have him back. Sean Harker as well. So
John Plowman.
John Plowman, Tyson Partridge in the stock cars. A couple new guys. It seems like, towards the end of the year, we typically get a couple of those new guys.
Yep.
Yeah. As tracks end their season, more guys are willing to come out, and so it's good to see. It's always good having Tyson Partridge down here as well. He, his cars always look good. So I enjoy seeing him on the track.
You can probably hear in the background, we've got hot laps going on right now. It's going to be a great night of racing here, race fans. Beautiful weather here tonight. Not super humid out. It's just really, really nice. If you are making your way down to the Speedway tonight, race fans, we thank you for joining us. And like I said, we're going to have 50-50 selling tonight. We're doing a King of the Hill tonight as well. So at the end of the night for our modifieds. Next week is McCunn Specialty Firearm Night, 2 King of the Hills, and then September 14th Championship Night. So also make sure to mark your calendars. First weekend in August is the 2nd annual Pumpkin Dash. October, yep. Second annual Pumpkin Dash featuring the Malvern Bank Super Late Models East and West Series. We're going to crown 2 champions that night, race fans. And you can watch it all live on dirtcrown.tv.
Absolutely. So looking forward to, this time of year is also when those of us that work this thing are ready to wind the season down too and take a couple of months off before we have to turn right around and
do it all again.
Believe it or not, usually come Christmas right after and you start talking Daytona.
Well, Gateway always gets me going.
Yeah,
it's like, man, I don't know about you, but.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like what I was telling him on the radio show. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Like, we say we're going into off season, but with the races I go to, there's basically no off season because I got all the late fall specials. Then we go to Gateway, then Chili Bowl, then I go to some early season NASCAR races, and then we're right back to racing. So it's like, well, never really took a break. So
one more thing to surprise Evan here a little bit, just to say that we'll remind you folks that we'll be having a meeting this week. So because we need to get the details out about the Pumpkin Dash.
Yes.
Who's racing and what's racing. It's a 2-night deal.
We got to figure out what we're doing for purse and everything like that.
We got to get all those details. I have people messaging me already what's going on, and we're going to get that hammered out this week. So
we got to get trophies ordered and everything like that.
So we got to get all that announced.
I get those cool little LED pumps. And we got to make sure we're buying pumpkins to smash too.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. So I went.
It sounds like that Tammy at the concession stand is gonna, between her employees, they're gonna do a pumpkin carving contest. And we're gonna line them up.
Oh, that's even better. And then we might have to just have a contest. That's right.
That's a good idea. Maybe we should do a pumpkin carving contest.
I think we can probably get that announced too. So
that'd be cool. Oh, look at this guy. Did he just wake up or what?
We have a coloring contest. We have, we've done that in the past. We do that stuff. So heck yeah, why not a pumpkin? Why not a pumpkin dash too? So. You betcha. So I'll tell you what, folks, we got a couple minutes here, but it is great to have the racers in the background when you get the cars out on the track, so we don't get to do that very often. But if you're not already on your way, you better get here, because I guarantee you we're going to start early tonight.
Yes.
It's tracks ready, drivers are ready, we're ready. I know Logan went up the tower. He's ready to get this thing going. We're going to have a very brief, if not much of an intermission at all. We want to get this thing going and get you guys home and enjoy the weekend. It's a nice Labor Day weekend. So.
Yeah, 3-day weekend. Isn't that nice, Cole? You don't have to go sweat your butt off on Monday.
Oh, I know. And it's going to be a nice, cool week.
What are you doing this weekend?
Probably a whole lot of nothing. Just chilling out.
There you go.
So, you know, you're talking about going up north.
I think Haley and I are going to go to Boone.
I talked to Josh off the air. I don't know if he mentioned it, but he's probably going to run a stock car up there, or a late model Monday or Sunday. Monday.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Late models are mod lights are tomorrow. Haley loves watching the mod lights, so mod lights are tomorrow. We'll watch that, and then late models are on Monday. So
Josh said he was going to race that.
But yeah, a lot of good racing coming up, race fans. This is the best time of the year to be a dirt track race fan. So many great races around the area. And it's awesome that we get to go watch one of our local guys as well race at Knoxville here coming up in September. Going to be another one of those deals, man. It's just a great time to be a race fan.
Yeah, that dirt grind deal is going to be fun. I'll make a point to go to that too. That's going to be fun to see.
And Chubbs told us that he has never been to Knoxville.
I listened. I couldn't believe that. So
I told him, I said, TV does not do it justice.
No, it doesn't. And what they've added on since I'd been there this year, like, wow, now they're building another set of suites. I'm like, holy cow, that is so awesome. I mean, I know our NASCAR rep, Kevin Nevelainen, when we were back for Iowa Speedway, he made it a point to go down there and they winded dining Freddie Brown. He just couldn't believe that place. I said, yeah, it's quite the deal. So that'd be a neat place to have a NASCAR race too. So,
well, they have before.
Yeah, but
a cup race.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? So, yeah. So.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah. They got to get more stands for that.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, folks, thanks for tuning in here on KCSI Radio and the YouTube channel. Also, next week.
Oh yes.
Next week we will not be on the radio, but we will be on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
So,
I forgot to mention that.
Iowa football game's going on, which is great because we love Iowa football. So. What a great game they had today, but they're going to be probably beating on the Iowa State team next week, and you're going to listen to that on the radio. But you can tune into the YouTube channel to see us next week. We'll still do a show, and it's going to be on the YouTube channel only. So for Evan and Cole and myself, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you on the YouTube channel next week. And I tell you what, boys, listen.